This is the Angry Reviewer. Today I'm bringing you a review on Valerian, the new film from the director of The Fifth Element. First off, let me say this film is visually stunning. I mean, it'll catch your eye when it first begins. That's how visually stunning this film is. But after that, just because a film has good visuals doesn't mean shit. The acting in this film is atrocious. I mean, it was bad. The acting in this film was fucking bad. It was atrocious. Dane DeHaan did good as Valerian. The chick that played his partner, she couldn't act if her life depended on it. That's how bad of an actor this Ruga was. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me fucking wrong. I personally, don't get me wrong, Dane DeHaan did good with what he was given. I'm not gonna say he didn't. This film, the only way I can sum it up, imagine Jupiter Ascending crossed with The Fifth Element, but on a grander scale. That's Valerian. Dane DeHaan does good for what he's given. Rihanna did good for what she was given. The chick that played the love interest was alright, but she's not someone you're going to remember or you're going to want to remember. The acting was atrocious. The action when it happened was fucking awesome. You're rooting for more. You're like, oh yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I want to see more of that. But then the sad part about it is it happened so quick. The action scenes fly by so fast that you're like, what the fuck? Oh, why did that just happen? Or what did I just witness? Like, what is that? For example, there would be a scene where Valerian is talking to someone and he's like, oh, I'm here to get some information from you. It's kind of like a Legend of Zelda. Imagine the Legend of Zelda brought to life, but in space. Okay. Valerian's talking to somebody and he's like, well, I'm here to get information from you. And the dude's like, well, if you pay me this much, I don't have the information, but I can point you in the right direction with this map to the person who might have what you need, but I'm not guaranteeing it. And I'm not giving you nothing unless you pay. So imagine he pays, he gets the map. He gets to other dude. Other dude says, I got the information you need and I'll help you with it, but you got to do these chores for me, or you got to go collect that money from, let's say, Rocco. That's just an example, folks. There's no guy named Rocco in this movie. You got to go collect this stuff from Rocco and make sure Rocco knows that Johnny Tolpa send you. So there goes Valerian to go collect for Rocco, for Johnny Tolpa. Johnny Tolpa is like, well, okay. When Valerian does the job, Johnny Tolpa is like, oh, okay. You did the job. Johnny Tolpa's like, all right, so Rocco sent you here. They'll have a shootout or a fight. Fucking shit goes by so quick. You're like, well, what was the point in that scene? You're telling yourself, what did I just watch or what did I just witness? So then it goes from Valerian being at Johnny Topa's place to Valerian going back to Rocco's place. He goes back to Rocco, and Rocco's like, well, all right, you didn't have to kill Johnny Topa, but you did the job, so here's the information. When he gets the information leads him, just like a fucking national treasure but in space, to another place where he can get more information. And it's like this guy, Don Dehan, and this chick, they're like fucking treasure hunters but in space. And they're jumping from point A to point B to point C, point D, point E, looking for all this stuff and trying to find out who did this shit. All the while, they're trying to have this Han and Leia love relationship between Don Dehan and his girl, that girl that plays his partner. I don't know her name, and I'm not going to even try to pronounce it. They're trying to force a love relationship there, and then there's no chemistry. No chemistry whatsoever. There's none between them. The chemistry is non-existent. So it's like, I kind of like you. I think I'm supposed to like you. I'm not sure if I like you, but we'll give it a shot. And nothing happens after that. It's like you don't see them doing anything with it. They hint at it. They don't do nothing with it. All in all, this film is The Fifth Element without the excitement and the fun that Bruce Willis and Chris Tucker brought. This film is like Jupiter Ascending, but 10 times as shittier. 10 times shittier. At least with Jupiter Ascending, the Wachowskis tried. And you could somewhat figure out what they were trying to do. And they do make a very visually stunning movie from start to finish. This film, when they're in the cities of Valerian, when they're in that city from outer space that us Earthlings built, but it got so big because it's like a hub, like almost like an airport, full of aliens that, oh, okay, if you let us live here, we'll bring you this technology. You let us live here, we'll bring that technology. It got so big that they had to move it to outer space. When they're there, the visuals are off the charts. But when they're hopping from planet to planet and place to place, the visuals start losing steam. See, my camera work looks like crap because purposely I'm doing that to give you a sense of what you're going to see when you watch this film. Once you do see it, if you happen to see it, because I'm sorry, this film made Dunkirk look like Unbroken. And Dunkirk, for the record, wasn't a bad film. It wasn't. It was epic and awesome. But it was a type of war film that if you've seen one, you've seen them all. I didn't feel what everybody else felt. I didn't feel the greatness in it. I felt like I was just watching a ripoff of Pearl Harbor, crossed with Fury, crossed with Unbroken, crossed with Red Tails, crossed with Saving Private Ryan. And Valerian is the same shit. This film is a retread of every space epic imaginable, but on a suckier and a lower budget scale. When you see this and you hear the name of the director who made the film, you're going to be thinking to yourself, oh, maybe lightning will strike twice and he'll do better than he did with Lucy. And maybe this will be the next Fifth Element. Sorry to say, he had a bomb on his hands. This film is nowhere near the level of The Fifth Element. It's nothing like Stargate. It's nowhere near as good as Star Wars. It can't touch Star Trek. And it breaks my heart to say this, but Jupiter Ascending was better than this film, because at least with Jupiter Ascending, you could ascertain to what the Wachowskis were trying to somewhat do, and they made it somewhat interesting, whether or not you like Channing Tatum or not, or Mila Kunis. At least she was nice to look at. In this film, Don DeHaan, he tries his best to hold the film together, but he fails. The chick that plays his partner, ultimately, she could have been played by anybody, any Joe Blow actress, and you would have been none the worse for wear. Rihanna did all right for what she had to do. I mean, her character was so forgettable, I don't even remember it. This whole film was so forgettable, I don't really even remember it. I do remember it starts off with this one battle scene, this one mission that they're on, and that's to get you pumped for what's supposedly going to happen throughout the film in the beginning. That one scene is supposed to pump you for everything that's going to be supposedly happening throughout this film. So you get into that scene, you're pumped, you're ready, you're thinking you got yourself a sci-fi epic on your hands, and once the film starts rolling and it starts taking off, the visuals when they slap you in the face are awesome, but once those visuals run their course, it's like, why? What did I just watch? What am I doing here? You want to ram your head to the wall. The fight scenes, they do happen quite a bunch, but there's nothing to them. They fly by so fucking quick that you're like scratching your head or looking at your partner or your friend and like, what just happened? Why did that just happen? Did you get what was going on there? Because if you didn't, I know I didn't. And by the ending of the film, your head's gonna fucking hurt with all the crap, because you're trying to ascertain what's happening in point A. Why is this happening in point B? What's going on with point C? What the fuck happened to point D? And why are we at point F? If I wanted to watch National Treasure crossed with Jupiter Ascending crossed with The Fifth Element, I would watch all three movies at once on different TVs. Then I have a reason to have such a headache from each film. Honestly, don't waste your money on this. Go see Dunkirk. And I'm sorry, this film disappointed me so much because it has me promoting Dunkirk, a film that's a rehash of every single war film that came before it. And that's bad when a film does that. The film should make you want to go see it. This film right here is going to make you want to wash the taste out of your mouth by coming home and watching The Fifth Element. Watching, I'll say it, Jupiter Ascending. By watching something like that. Star Wars, Star Trek. Hell, Planet of the Apes. That's how bad this film is. This film is a film you ain't gonna remember by the time you leave the fucking theater. I give this film an F only because the director of The Fifth Element, he somewhat tried, because he made somewhat coherent scenes when he could. But after that, everything just jumped around, got confusing, will get you lost, and will fucking bore you for the runtime that it has. Skip it at all costs. Don't pay attention to this piece of shit. Watch Dunkirk. Watch War of the Planet of the Apes. Hell, fucking watch Spider-Man. I'm me, you're you. This is my review. I'm out.